Alright, this is going to be me live, waking up with Whoopi in about 20 seconds.
Get high with me, come on, touch the sky with me, fly with me, see life in new eyes with me.
1035 KTU is the beat of New York, Whoopi. Thank you. And you're waking up to us.
Hey, it's 7:35. It's Monday, November 12th.
I love that last song we just played.
You did?
Yeah, I just want to say that.
Oh, well, okay.
All right.
Sounds kind of like a you song. But listen, we thought we'd kick off National Children's Book Week with an author, which is always a good way to do it.
Absolutely.
Author Laura Duksta. Duksta.
Well, we can ask her if we're saying
Yeah,
it right.
we'll actually ask her if we're saying it right. She's written a book which captures the power and magic of unconditional love shared between a mom and child. She's here today to talk about her book, Love You More. Now, Love You More is a message of love and be loved between parent and a child. Now, what's interesting, and we'll talk to Laura about this, is that she has a very special condition. And talking about love and unconditional love is probably right up her alley. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Whoopi. Good morning, Cubby.
Good morning, Laura. So how do you say your last name?
Duksta.
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 Gotcha.
Thank you. We've been trying to sound it out and do it phonetically, and you heard me mangle it, and I apologize.
My uncle says Duksta. My father says Duksta. My uncle would rather be a Duke, but my dad went with Duksta.
I like that. Now, what is it about this book? It's not like all the other I Love You books. What made this book so different?
Well, what's a little bit different about it, the title is I Love You More, and the book was an answer to a prayer. So one, I just really believe that the message, it's a very simple but profound message of love, that words are meant to be in the world. But what makes our book a little unique, like me,
Yes.
is that it's a flip-sided book. It actually begins from both sides and reads to the middle. Like love, it never ends, and there's two sides to love, the giving and receiving.
Wow,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you think your book will help children be more understanding and loving to children dealing with physical challenges?
You know what? Like I said, it's a very simple message of love, but I believe when our children know they're loved, so it just, the message of the book happens at a very simple level. On one side, a child asks the mother, Mommy, just how much do you love me? And she responds kind of grand things. On the other side, the mother asks the child, well, just how much do you love me? So it really just starts this conversation of love. And I believe when our children know they're loved, anything is possible. So no matter whether you're an adult or a child and whatever you're going through, having that conversation just really prevalent in your life, I believe will empower.
Well, you have a very special thing about you that I'd like to talk to you about. You have something called alopecia. Now, can you explain to our listeners what alopecia is?
Sure. They like to actually call it Alopecia Areata. It's a very pretty name for a kind of funky disease. When I was 11 years old, I lost all of my hair, my long brown wavy hair, to this disease, which is a stress-triggered autoimmune disease like most good diseases. And sometimes it falls out in patches and grows back, and other times it just falls out and really shows no signs of growing back, which is what happened in my case. And for 19 long years, I wore wigs, trying to be like everybody else. And no matter what I tried, it just really didn't work. And so it wasn't until, and it was obviously a very difficult thing. I wouldn't look at myself in a mirror for 10 years without a wig on. And then just after I had the idea for the book, I decided, you know what, it was like I finally took a deep breath and looked around and realized that nobody looks the same on the outside.
That's right.
Even though most of us have hair, or most of you have hair, I should say.
Yeah.
And I just embraced that lesson of just be yourself, which I think is one of those lessons we learn in kindergarten, but it's one of those, simple but not necessarily easy. And so it took me a lot of years to embrace that.
And how long before you realized that there were other people like you? Because I have a really good friend who has alopecia.
Interesting that you asked that. When I was 11 and I kind of shut down to the world, I became so introverted and so shy, and I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't go to my first conference where they have like a national alopecia conference, And it's quite funny because thousands of bald people descend on a city, and I don't know what the city must think is happening. But I didn't go until I was 30 years old, and when I went, it was a really powerful experience because there were children, teenagers, adults, all the family members that had family members that had alopecia, and it was a really powerful experience to finally get that this wasn't just happening to me.
Well, one of the best directors in the history of movies also had alopecia.
Did not know
Mike
that.
Nichols.
Mike Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So his came on in childhood as well. So
Well, 5 million people actually have the condition.
yeah, and no one knows what triggers it except we think it's a stress related disease.
It's stress triggered, and stress is relative, so it's really hard to pinpoint. It
Right.
could be a bad grade in school, moving to a different town, the loss of a child, the loss of a job. And then, 5 million people do have it, but like I said, a lot of times it will fall out in a patch, and then it will grow back.
Right.
And then the next time that person gets stressed, it might fall out again.
See? Now, do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one sister who has more hair than you've ever seen on her.
That's funny.
As you.
That's funny.
Weird.
Thick hair, so...
Some delay.
Well, I love this book because it reads from the back and it reads from the front. And the answer to do you love me is yes, I do.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yes, I do. Hey.
Or I love you more than anything in the whole wide world.
Yes.
Well, thank you for kicking off National Children's Book Week with us.
Well, thank you so
Appreciate
much
that.
for having me.
And you can pick up I Love You More at all fine bookstores. You can find it at Scholastic, one of my favorite stores to go to ever. Or you can go to Whoopi.com and we will send you to all the places that you can find I Love You More. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right,
Bye,
Laura.
Laura.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, 7:42. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Wake it
Yeah,
up.
I mean, that's 30 seconds away just in case something has to be.
KTU is worldwide.